Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome in. We actually have another patch update. Thank God everyone was ready for anything Iron Mace. All right, so they already extended it despite it originally going out saying it was going to be for 2 hours. It has already gone out for 3 hours. Let's get to the things that we actually care about. They fixed a ton of issues, like always, between quality of life, details, life of details, actually. So we can always get into that later, but who actually cares? So, balance changes. Fighters' breakthrough duration changed from 12 seconds to 8 seconds. I think that's actually a big W. I know a lot of fighters might complain about that, but when you're running sprint and breakthrough, like, chill on me, bro. So, whatever. Clerics, divine protection duration changed from 4 to 6 seconds. I know clerics are going to love this. Clerics are going to be eating good once again. And then druids. Oh, finally, some sort of nerf, right? Like, no offense to all the druids out there, but you guys have been eating too good for too long. So first things first, the life bloom aura healing amount changed from 2 to 1. That's good. It's not going to be game breaking, you guys. I really don't think it is, and if I'm wrong, I will redact that. But it's needed. You shouldn't be the best healer in the game, honestly, and still just be as viable and strong. Be able to take 2 to 3 different points of damage consecutively and heal full through it. You just can't. Orb of Nature's spell count changed from 5 to 4. Okay, just more spell count changes. Not a big deal. Barkskin armor changed from 5 to 4. I don't know how much that's honestly actually used. I have noticed that Orb of Nature has been used a lot more, and it seems relatively weak, but a great little spot heal or, 10 damage if you use it offensively. The Barkskin's armor not only has been changed from spell count of 5 to 4, but the casting time has also been reduced. So they took away a spell count, but made it faster to cast. Entangling Vines spell count. They only have 2 of these now. I think that was really needed between all of a druid's utility of being able to throw out thorn barrier, vines, thorn barrier, tree, vines, and rotate through all of those. With how short fights are and the time to kill is so much higher right now, I don't think that was honestly as needed in a balancing comp situation. The duration has also been reduced from 6 to 3 seconds, which I've been asking for a very long time. And that's only in respective to the classes that have slows or freezes. Nothing is that long, okay? It does not need to be that long unless you want to start balancing the other classes. Well, let's see. The Entangling Vines now takes 0.75 seconds to activate after casting. So this gives you a chance. If you hear the vines coming out, you see them placing it, you're able to anticipate it and have that skill gap. You have a chance to get out of it. You have a chance to move out of it. And if you get caught in it now, it's a skill issue. It's your problem. Thorn Barrier's spell count changed from 3 to 2. Thornberry's duration changed from 8 to 4. Thank God. That thing, they can hold the door forever. And that just helps them run away, helps their team run away. Too much running away on a class, in my opinion. Not a druid hate video, but come on. Come on. Restorer's spells tier changed from 5 to 3. Okay. Give them something, right? Give them something. The casting time was reduced by 0.25 seconds as well. That's going to be a nice feel as they have gear on. So, honestly, W changes, questionable change, W change so far. Let's look at Sork. I know not many people care about Sork, but for the ones that do, we're just going to run through this real quick. The cooldown time of all spells has been changed from a 3 tier to a 4 tier, so that means the cooldown should be increased instead of being able to just kite around for a few seconds, have all their stuff back, and just not have a risk for just throwing out spells, just slinging every spell possible. There's just no risk to it. They can just dump and dump and dump like a ranger with arrows loaded up in his inventory. Time distortion spellcast time reduction has been changed from 100% to 75%, and its cooldown increase has been changed from 4 to 3. I kind of like this. I might mess around with this. That's very interesting. So you don't have instant cast spells anymore if you run Time Distortion. But on the other side, your cooldown isn't as heavy either. So, but they also did just increase the cooldowns as well. So we'll see how that works out and how that feels from the Sork mains. We'll get some feedback on that later. Fire Arrow's spell casting time has changed from 1.5 seconds to 1 second, just like Water Bolt. And then Stone Skin and Wind Blast have been changed to 0.75 second. I know I don't know about this one. I feel like Water Bolt's used enough. Maybe that's a W change. Maybe it's not. Stone Skin was not being used as much ever since the melee build was nerfed. Wind Blast, I understand that with how weak of a spell it is, and it's more of a utility to turn around. Like it's a Wizard's Ice Bolt with Ice Mastery or something. It probably needed to be reduced to feel good. Flame Strike's spell casting time has been changed from 1.7 to 1.25. So I see a lot of these spell casting changes are being reduced despite Time Distortion being reduced from 100 to 75. I think this is just small balancing as they try to tweak and find a good middle ground that feels good to the dev team. Ice Spear has also been changed to 1.25 seconds, and then Glaciate has been changed to 0.75. Eruption spellcasting time is also changed, but only from 1.75 to 1.25. How much of these do we actually know how they feel when people have been running Time Distortion for so long? Who knows? Lightning Bolt spellcasting time has changed from 1.75 seconds to 1 second. That's actually a significant reduction for a spell that can melt you. That's an interesting change. It's one of the most commonly used ones. It generally comes back up pretty quickly on the CDR of it. So that's an interesting change. Fire Orb spellcasting time has changed from 2 seconds to 1.25 seconds. Okay. How many of these people are actually going to be affected by all these reductions in spellcasting time? Who knows? Vortex's spellcasting time has changed from 2 to 0.75. They really want people to be able to react and have the time to react and cast when someone gets on them. That's my thought with the Vortex reduction, just like it's my thought with the Water Bolt reduction. Let's see. Levitation spellcasting time has not only been changed from 1.5 seconds to 0.5 seconds, the tier has also changed from 5 to 4. So they're able to meet that requirements more, and the CDR shouldn't be as high. That's a good buff. I think Levitation's actually kind of broken, and when used correctly, allows free damage in the air while someone freaks the fuck out, or allows you to get out of a tight situation pretty quickly if you need to. Lightning Sphere spell casting time has changed from 2 seconds to 1.25 seconds, and the tier has also been changed from 5 to 4. Let's see here. Summon Earth Elemental spellcasting time has changed from 2 seconds to 1 second, and the tier has changed from 6 to 5. Icebound also increases CDR by 50% while in ice. This is going to create a very specific build that I'm going to be excited to see if it's broken, if it's weak, and also I just want to see some people use it and own. Like, trust me, you're going to see a build on this to be able to dump heavy spells and have high damage perks with increased CDR, but then use Icebound in a niche situation. It's going to be really cool to see the versatility of the player base on Sorks trying to use Icebound now in their rotation of trying to get their spells back and overall put out more DPS. So, okay, let's get into some of the game updates that most people care about. The adventure rank rewards have been revealed. We will be going over those live on stream here in about 2 or 3 hours, as long as maintenance ends on time. Religion and adventure rank will end on April 3rd. In my opinion, it has already ended, at least the adventure rank part. Once you made the AP loss 0 and people just can play the game for free and just die, they can take double reds and die and get 200 AP every 10 to 15 minutes. Come on, man. Adventure rank's dead. Defeat in the arena will no longer result in losing items, regardless of their status. So here's the first step you guys really cared about. You can buy whatever you want and bring it into arena. Okay? Arena Test Season 3 will run from March 21st to March 31st. That is today, right? today their time. It's March 20th for me, but it's March 21st for them. When Arena comes out or tonight, it will be March 21st for them. This is Arena Test Season 3. This is what people have been caring about. People have been wanting named and uniques, and they said it would be in Arena Test Season 3. And they were really upset that that wasn't last week when they just misunderstood that the new test season hadn't come out yet. So that will be this weekend, and we will see how that goes from there and exactly what are they testing. Non-seasonal arena will run from March 31st to April 7th, which is it's the same thing we just had last week, where everyone complained that we didn't get any updates and arena was the same. That's what they're already saying is going to be next week. But in non-seasonal arena, you will not lose equipment upon defeat, and there will be no equipment grade restrictions. So I could be wrong here, but based off what this is saying, is we will not have uniques or named weapons this weekend. We will not have it from March 21st to March 31st. We will just be able to have gear we want in there. Starting next week, when we get the non-season arena, there will be no equipment grade restrictions. That reads to me, we will, starting next week, we will have named and uniques in arena. They've also added several new arena modules. Let's hope it's not the worst modules in the maps again. They improved some of the arena modules, which I've been saying for a while that a lot of arena modules need to be tuned or adjusted for arena specifically, because arena and the dungeon delving games are completely separate in playstyle and playability. Arena recent matches, UI improvements, be nice to see those. The arena item policy changes have been made with improvements to UI guidance, probably just little chat boxes, saying what you can and can't bring in, hopefully. Arena party score restriction. If the MMR difference between the highest and lowest player in a party is 390 or more, matchmaking will not occur. This value may be adjusted in real time. So basically, they're saying that if, a 3K player is partied up with the 2K player, they will not get a game. You cannot get carried, or high MMR players will not be able to get into low MMR lobbies. They are trying to adjust that, but the reason they're saying this value may be adjusted in real time is because they want to see if this leads to less matchmaking or more matchmaking on the higher end and lower end MMRs. The arena MMR calculation method has been updated. They keep saying that, but it's always continued to stay flawed and bugged. From now on, the MMR will only consider the opponent's average score and the player score without being affected by their team score. That could seriously mess with matchmaking too, so we'll have to see what that does. They improved the Bolt of Darkness for Warlock on the effect, and the Cleric's Locust Swarm has also been improved, so maybe we'll get more of a visual effect. Bolt of Darkness might look better when it comes out. Locust Swarm might be able to visually see it better or more improved, I guess. I don't know how much we actually care about it. This needed to be changed. Druid's Dreamwalk now activates with Dark Swarm. Absolutely. Why did it not to begin with? Equipment with MR has been updated, added dual base stats to some items, and reduced magic resistance by 30%. I feel like this is a combat to the caster nerfs. They understand it feels bad, and now casters are almost irrelevant if they stack MR at all. So this is an interesting change. They added magical damage, weakness, and strength data for monsters. Monsters may now have a weakness or resistance to a particular element. I have been saying this for a long time because it seems like most of all the bosses, maybe not even monsters, but at least the bosses, and that's where I come from on my opinion, they all have increased magic resist but reduced physical resist. So it's nice to see that they apply more magic resist to monsters. That way, casters can actually have a better PvE clearing experience once they understand the mechanics of PvE. They know the monster mechanics, and you don't want to sit there and swing a crystal sword 8 times to kill, just an elite or rare mob. They adjusted the spawn density for monsters in ice caverns. That seems like that should have happened a long time ago. A long time ago, but it's fine. It's fine. Some people still loved it. They changed the monster spawn quantities in some Inferno modules. That was needed, especially for some of the new modules. They also adjusted the number of golden chests placed in Inferno. I've been talking for a while now, since the most recent changes with the new Inferno modules, about how the loot down there is not worth the headache. There is not loot. It's too big of a headache to deal with the monsters, to deal from clearing module to module, just to hopefully find a blue or a blue to spawn near you and be ready. You don't have time to loot. You don't want to loot. You almost don't even want to go down there. They adjust the general environmental improvements have been made to the entire map for better gameplay. What a blanket statement to say that we have nothing to go off of. W Iron Mace. Interesting. Now, Fog of War has returned to HR Dungeons. I made a joke about how 50% of the player base was in normals, and then they took Fog of War out of HR and left it in normals. Now they lost 50% of their player base because no one wanted to deal with it in normals, let alone HR. So now people either aren't playing at all because they only played normals, or they went to HR and now normals is dead. Why do we even have Fog of War? They expanded the fog clearing range. That's good, I guess. If we're going to have Fog of War, we should be able to see more around our surroundings from where we explored on the map. They changed the display brightness method to fix issues where the game saturation could be lowered and the UI brightness could be increased. I know a lot of rangers and rogues were using this to play dark corners and whatnot, so that's a very interesting fix, and I'm surprised that they even acknowledged it or spent time on fixing it, in consideration of everything else they either overlook or let swim by, because they deem it not time-worthy. Let's read their comments and then we'll get out of here. This hotfix makes some adjustments to the continuous matchmaking system and the Dark Swarm settings to tweak the tempo of the dungeons. We've also made adjustments to the Fog of War by doubling the view size. Oh, doubled it. Okay. And testing its inclusion in the HR dungeons, which I thought we had already done that for too long. All MMR ratings have now been reset to test the new MMR formula along with MMR range restrictions for teams. The MMR difference between the highest and the lowest member in a party can no longer exceed 390 MMR. This is to encourage more people to test the new arena MMR system, since they've removed the item loss penalties for losing an arena match, meaning we no longer lose our items. They have also updated the arena map pool for this new test season. I'm very curious about the new maps. I'm kind of excited, kind of nervous. We also intend to hold a special arena event for the final week of this season after Arena Test Season 3 as an end-of-season event. Thank God it's not multi-classing this time. Again. During this event, we will remove the legendary item limit, allowing participants to bring in their unique and artifact items. Thank you, and see you in the dungeons. So yes, to reiterate, we do not have named or uniques in arenas this weekend. That will start after this arena test season. Okay, chat? So, from there on, for the end of season event, we will be able to bring in our spell weavers and our Fulgors and all of our unique gear that we have all spent all of our money on buying, because the gear in this game is outrageously priced right now, while the market is also remaining to be crashed. So, yeah. Ending on that note, very interesting patch, very interesting update. Patch 81, we'll see how it feels, and we will go from there. Stay tuned, guys. Feel free to follow me on Twitch, live pretty much every day, sometimes twice a day. And make sure you hit subscribe on the YouTube if you feel like helping out and supporting the brand. I appreciate everybody, and I will see you guys in the dungeons.